For over a century, the Panama Canal has stood as a marvel of human ingenuity and engineering, a testament to what vision and determination can achieve. This narrow strip of water carved through the heart of Central America became a shortcut that forever reshaped global trade, saving ships weeks of dangerous travel around the tip of South America. Spanning 51 miles, the canal links the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, slashing shipping times and revolutionizing commerce by making the world feel smaller and more connected. Every year, more than 12,000 ships carrying everything from electronics and cars to grain and oil depend on its smooth operation to keep the world's supply chains moving. The canal is a critical choke point for global commerce, directly influencing the price and availability of goods in markets worldwide. Any disruption here can ripple across continents. Yet, beneath its impressive machinery and bustling traffic, the canal relies on a surprisingly vulnerable element: fresh water, drawn from the vast Lake Gatun. Each ship's passage flushes an astonishing 50 million gallons of fresh water from Lake Gatun out to sea, a process repeated dozens of times every day. For decades, Panama's abundant tropical rains kept this delicate system in balance, replenishing the lake and ensuring the canal's steady operation. But now, that natural balance has been disrupted and the consequences are becoming impossible to ignore. Today, a historic drought has starved Lake Gatun of its lifeblood, threatening the canal's future and sending shockwaves through the global economy as shipping slows and costs rise. The Panama Canal crisis is a story of climate change, geopolitics, and a desperate search for solutions before a vital artery of world trade is lost, one that will shape the future of global commerce for generations to come. The crisis began quietly, with less rainfall than usual, a subtle shift that went unnoticed by many outside the region. For months, meteorologists warned of changing weather patterns, but few could have predicted the scale of what was to come. By 2024, the situation had escalated into a full-blown catastrophe, with water levels dropping at an alarming rate. A severe multi-year drought, intensified by the powerful El Niño phenomenon, gripped Panama, pushing Lake Gatun, the heart of the canal, to historic lows not seen in decades. As the water receded, the canal could no longer accommodate the largest ships fully loaded, forcing vessels to lighten their cargo or risk running aground. The Panama Canal Authority responded by slashing daily ship transits, creating massive backlogs and delays that rippled across the globe. Over 150 vessels waited at anchor, some for weeks, as shipping costs soared and perishable goods spoiled in the tropical heat, threatening businesses and livelihoods. The canal's reputation for reliability evaporated almost overnight, and the economic impact was immediate and severe. Revenue plummeted, and shipping lines faced tough choices: wait in line for uncertain passage, pay dramatically higher fees, or seek alternative routes that added weeks to their journeys. Some chose to wait, gambling on a faster opening, while others paid premium tolls just to keep their cargo moving. Many rerouted thousands of miles around South America's treacherous Cape Horn, burning more fuel and adding significant costs and delays. These disruptions rippled through global supply chains, fueling inflation, emptying store shelves, and exposing the fragility of just-in-time logistics that the world had come to rely on. The world's dependence on this single waterway had never been clearer, and the crisis served as a stark warning of how vulnerable global trade truly is. The Panama Canal crisis is also a human story, a conflict over water between global trade and local survival. Lake Gatun, the canal's lifeblood, is also the main source of drinking water for over 2 million Panamanians. Every ship's passage means 50 million gallons lost. Water that can't be used for people. As drought deepens, water rationing and declining quality have become daily realities for many. Tensions are rising as Panamanians see their vital resource flushed out to sea for foreign commerce. The canal is a source of national pride and economic strength, but the right to clean water is non-negotiable. The drought has forced Panama to confront whether its century-old model can still serve both its people and the world. The nation faces a reckoning. Who gets the water when there isn't enough for all? The canal's crisis has become a geopolitical flashpoint, drawing Panama into the rivalry between the US and China. This narrow strip of water has become a symbol of global power dynamics, where every move is scrutinized and every decision has far-reaching consequences. For Washington, the canal is a strategic asset. For Beijing, it's a key link in its Belt and Road Initiative. The stakes are high, and both nations are keenly aware of the canal's pivotal role in global trade and military strategy. U.S. anxieties have grown over Chinese-operated ports at both ends of the canal. These ports are seen as potential footholds for Chinese influence in the Western Hemisphere, raising alarms in Washington. In 2025, President Trump reignited calls for U.S. control, citing security and economic concerns. His administration argued that American oversight was essential to safeguard national interests and maintain regional stability. Tension spiked when the U.S. falsely claimed Panama would waive transit fees for American ships, a move Panama quickly denied. This misinformation only added fuel to the fire, exacerbating an already volatile situation. Meanwhile, China has quietly expanded its influence through infrastructure investment and port operations. These investments are part of a broader strategy to secure critical maritime routes and enhance China's global reach. Panama is caught in the middle, balancing economic opportunities from China with its complex relationship with the U.S. The nation must carefully navigate these waters to avoid alienating either superpower while maximizing its own benefits. The water crisis has only heightened these pressures, as both superpowers vie for influence. Drought conditions have strained the canal's capacity, making the stakes even higher for all parties involved. The canal is now a battleground, in a new era of great power competition. Every ship that passes through its locks is a reminder of the strategic importance of this vital waterway. Panama must navigate these treacherous waters to protect its sovereignty and future. The choices it makes today will shape its destiny for generations to come. Under intense pressure from the U.S. and China, Panama's government has taken a defiant stand. President José Raúl Mulino declared Panama's sovereignty over the canal absolute and non-negotiable. Yet behind the scenes, Panama has moved to ease U.S. concerns, auditing Chinese-run ports and stepping back from China's Belt and Road Initiative. Diplomatic tensions remain high, with canceled talks and unpredictable U.S. policy complicating Panama's position. The crisis has alarmed Latin America, reviving fears of U.S. interventionism and dividing regional allies. Some countries back the U.S., while others support Panamanian sovereignty. Panama's challenge is to assert its independence without alienating powerful partners. The stakes are high. The wrong move could jeopardize both its autonomy and its economic future. The world is watching how Panama navigates this diplomatic minefield. Its choices will shape the region's balance of power for years to come. To secure the canal's future, the Panama Canal Authority has proposed a massive new dam on the Rio Indio. The project would create a reservoir to feed Lake Gatun, stabilizing water supplies for decades. On paper, it's a bold fix, protecting trade and easing pressure on drinking water. But the dam would flood entire communities, displacing over 2,000 people, mostly small farmers and indigenous residents. Fierce opposition has erupted, fueled by mistrust and memories of broken promises from past projects. Protesters argue they're being forced to sacrifice everything for a crisis they didn't cause. The Rio Indio Dam has become a flashpoint, turning a technical solution into a deeply divisive social and political battle. Panama must weigh the needs of global commerce against the rights and futures of its own people. The water crisis reaches far beyond the canal, threatening Panama's environment and economy. Tourism, especially eco-tours on Lake Gatun, is suffering as water levels drop and wildlife habitats shrink. Local guides and communities dependent on tourism are watching their livelihoods disappear. The drought is also devastating farms in the canal's watershed, undermining years of conservation work. Coffee crops are failing, and sustainable farming efforts are at risk. Experts warn that a new dam alone won't solve Panama's water woes. They call for reforestation, pollution control, and a national water authority to manage resources for all, not just shipping. Without systemic change, Panama risks lurching from one crisis to the next. As 2025 ends, the Panama Canal stands at a crossroads. The drought has exposed deep vulnerabilities, environmental, economic, and geopolitical. The proposed dam is mired in controversy, and the pressures from the U.S. and China are unrelenting. Panama's leaders must balance sovereignty, ethics, and the demands of global trade. The world is watching, The canal's fate will signal our ability to adapt to climate change and manage scarce resources. The Panama Canal has long symbolized human ingenuity. Now, it must become a symbol of resilience and responsible stewardship. The ships will keep coming, but whether the water will be there is the question that will define the future.